And that there is the 30-second countdown. Let's see. I am editing my audience to public. Remember, this does not stream on the Facebook Freethinkers group page anymore. Facebook and or Facebook groups and StreamYard, I don't know, have an issue. And so
even when I'm sending it from my page, it's not live
yes,
streaming it?
yes,
Okay.
it just
what
won't stream live to the Facebook page like it used to. So now when I create the stream, I just direct it to all three of our pages because it won't stream directly to Facebook. But yes, if we share it from Facebook, you can watch it in Facebook. It just won't stream in groups anymore. So like StreamYard in group
So you
feature.
still have to click on it even when it's on the Freethinkers page. You got to click on it and open it up, or is it just?
No, it streams to YouTube. It streams to YouTube. It streams to my page, and it streams to your page, but it doesn't stream to Facebook. To the Facebook group Freethinkers page. So so if I share it on my page, anybody can watch it, from there, and you can comment in there. It just isn't going directly to the Freethinkers page for all of our people over there to be notified that, hey, guess what? We're live.
Oh, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, it does. So, it's a fantastic reason for you to go subscribe to the YouTube channel if you've not subscribed to the YouTube channel.
I've been saying that for a long time. You can see the way things are changing and got to stay ahead of it.
And I kind of thought about this because this whole conversation played in my head today. This not being able to stream to Facebook, and then the ease of being able to go to the YouTube channel to watch and engage and stuff like that. And I was like, we have 103 people on our YouTube channel, which thank you. And thank you to every one of those 103 people that took a couple minutes out of your day to go to our page and just hit like and subscribe. Like literally, you didn't give us no money. We didn't ask you for any money. I didn't ask you for a kidney or a ride to work. Like, we just asked you to go to YouTube, which you do anyways, a couple times a week. Some of y'all live on there every day, and actually hit the subscribe button. So thank you to those who have subscribed. If you feel like I'm talking to you right now, I am. So go over to the YouTube channel and go hit like and subscribe. We don't expect to make $1 million tomorrow if 4 people hit like or if 100 people hit like, but one day it could fucking take us there. If you just put us in the algorithms and the spaces in which the social media engines value things and people by how much support they get from people. And we have 640 people in our Facebook Freethinkers page, and I'm sure quite a few of them are bots and bullshit like that. But 600 over there and 100 on the other is 500 missing
I wouldn't say
people.
More than 10%. We do a pretty good job of weeding it out.
We do, and we haven't had, we had a rush of total fucking robots join the page for a while. Right. Now it feels like we haven't had anybody join them forever, which,
I did another blast. We had about, over the last week or so, we had about 12 to 14 new people.
This week?
Added in. Over the last 10 days, we have.
Wow.
Yeah, I just went back and let me say this also. Because periodically, maybe once or twice a year, I'll go through and I'll invite. I'll go through my friend's page. Now, if I invite you, or if you've been invited, understand, I don't invite everybody. I literally go through my friend's page. I look at each person. I'm like, would they be good? Would they be good?
Right.
Would this be something that they're interested in? And I have over 2,000 friends on my Facebook page, and I invited probably about 35 to 40 who I thought this would benefit them. So
Okay.
I ain't just throwing it out there for numbers because I'm not trying to get it just for numbers. I am definitely a quality over quantity person. And if we just wanted to invite everybody and their mama, yeah, we'd have over 1,000 or 2,000-3,000 followers, but we value the community that we have. So just keep that in mind. We ain't doing, if I invite you, it's because I literally thought about you before I added an invite to you.
You know, and I feel the same way because like when we first started doing this during the COVID era, it was like, this is all some of us had to be able to socialize with people again. A lot of people, especially in those very beginning months, were like, not leaving the fucking house. Like this was all we had was our ability to get on FaceTime and social media with people. And we were part of a couple different podcasts at that time, you know, between Freethinkers and Black Tea Talk. You know, and especially during that time, hearing and engaging in conversations with people who had open-minded thinking. Do what?
I said Moke and Friends. Shout out to Moke.
Yeah, we have Moke and Friends too. Absolutely.
Tierra Talks. Shout out to Tierra.
Tierra Talks. Miss Annette had her show.
Miss Annette.
Stacy had a show.
Outside the Box with Roy Bright had a show.
Dr. Bright had a show. Damn, we did a lot of podcasts. We had a lot of podcast family back then. So during that time, being that there was so many obvious, like actual things happening on our planet at that time, right? To vaccinate or not vaccinate, or social distance or not, like just mandates, just so many fucking things changing overnight for damn near the entire planet. Knowing that there were people who kind of thought outside of the box, no pun intended, and thought, you know, not like everybody else thinks. Like there were times where I would come across people and I'd be like, oh my God, Freethinkers would be fucking perfect for you, and Black Tea Talk would be perfect for you. Like they're just great formats to be able to learn information, but also in a very strong and disciplined and, you know, intellectual space. Between us and Black Tea Talk, I mean, it's very intellectual spaces. That doesn't mean that you have to even be an intellect yourself. You don't have to have book smarts. You don't have to have researched a lot of shit, but like to be able to think outside of, you know, normal society takes guts and takes strength, right? And so those are our fucking people. And it was interesting sometimes the feedback that I would get from people who would like watch Black Tea Talk or watch us online, and they'd be like, oh yeah, it's cool. But that's too much for me.
And you know what? I'd recap, like I go back through my thread when I would look at threads, and I think about the type of post a person makes, whether I've had direct conversations with you, or I look at like, do you have posts that that you're inquisitive, that you think, that you're not just doing oh, this is what's going on, like in pop culture. Like I wanted people who had a thoughtful mindset, man. So I think
you're adamant about that. You're adamant about not really wanting to do pop culture topics much. And sometimes I wish that we did. And sometimes I think we do, but I'm glad that we don't. I'm glad we don't.
I'm okay with it every once in a while. I'm just not that interested in it now. Like for High IQ, with Antoine Ivory's husband, he came on and we did a whole rundown about the Kendrick Lamar and Drake.
I saw that last night. I was like, wait a minute, this ain't High IQ.
We had fun. We broke it all the way down and we had fun. Oh, speaking of, I was thinking about this too. In the near future, I think I want to do a show. Besides, because we're gonna get back into the Black Mirrors, but I also want to do a show about the Book of Clarence. Have you watched that yet?
No, but I know I need to. I know I need to. Yeah. And I see a lot of talk. Well, I don't see a lot of talk. I see a lot of talk in the spaces where it's being talked about, but I don't see a lot of people talking about it. So again, those free thinker, those different thinker, those, you know, people who didn't just watch the movie and had thoughts at home watching it, but like who were like, no, let's fucking talk about it. Like, you know, Smack definitely has brought that to my attention, that particular movie. I just haven't watched it, but over the last week or so, I've seen it be mentioned quite a few more times. So I'm like, oh, it's making its way around. I need to obviously sit down and watch this movie.
I think it's hard because it's not necessarily like a Black Mirror or something that's forcing you to think. You can just watch it and take it at face value, and you may think nothing other than it. But if you are a thinker and you do follow certain biblical stories, it will pose parallels, and it will cause you to think a little bit and there are deeper meanings that some people will find and some people won't, which I think is awesome, because that also goes back to the Bible.
You want that. That's me.
Right.
You want
He who
that.
hath an ear, let him hear. It could just be half of the stuff, and it could just be a story. Half of the stories in the Bible could just be stories, or if you read into it deeper, then it could be more than that.
So do you think that people need to, or would benefit more from, would it make a difference if people had a biblical somewhat knowledge to watch it, or could a person who really doesn't know a whole lot about the stories that are written, could they watch the movie and still, gather?
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You don't have to, and I mean, everybody has a basic. Most people in America has a basic understanding about the story of Jesus, but this is just a period piece that kind of talks around it, and it also there is just a lot of. I guess we have to get into it later, but it's a lot of things to where God, I can't talk about it without talking about it. But yeah, that's something that I want to have a conversation about later.
Well, maybe I'll watch it. No, it's a 3-hour movie, right? It's a long one.
I think it's about 220.
Oh, so it's regular. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, maybe I'll watch it tonight, but I was like, not if it's a 3-hour movie, it'll put me to sleep.
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
And then on side note, Lakeith Stanfield is one of my favorite actors. So he's at that level that anything that he's in, I'm watching it like hands down if I see it.
That's what's up. I'll check it out. You said something that you think that most people in America have the basic understanding of the story of Jesus, and I said, I immediately thought in my head, I don't know. I don't think my kids do. Unless my kids maybe learn something on TV or anime. They love anime. Like, my kids have never been to church before.
Okay. So I'm gonna give the easiest, simplest rundown and tell me if you think they know this or not.
Okay.
Jesus came down as the Son of God. He was born to a woman, and he came to save the sins of the whole world. He did a lot of signs and miracles. Ultimately, people rejected him, and his job was to bring forgiveness throughout the whole world and help save all of humanity. That's not something that they catch.
I don't think that they know that. I think that they would put 2 and 2 together, that Jesus is supposed to be God's son or whatever. Right. But okay. I'm going to ask them when we get off, and we're like, what do you know about Jesus? Tell me the story about Jesus. I'd be really curious to see what my kids say, because I have never, ever spoke of the story of, other than just my issues with the story of, but I've never told them, and they've never got it at school, and we don't go to church.
Easter surface story, like, even without trying to go in depth with it, as far as he overcame death so that we also could overcome. Like, that's the deeper part of it, but that's that's just a surface story, like the basic Sunday Easter story that you'd hear.
Right. No, I know the story, right? But I just wonder if my kids don't. I wonder if there's also a generation that doesn't, or if there are more people that don't actually know the story than we think know the story. I wonder. I'd be curious. I don't know.
I'm gonna have to write that down too.
I know. Put that on the list of topics for the future.
And see, that's something, golly, and see, that's something like I don't even know how to word it, but certain things that we view as basic assumptions, like, oh, everybody knows it. Like that's a topic in itself. What is it that? What are certain things that we assume everybody knows, and you may find out, like, all right, give me the basic story of this or that, and then you be like, no, and you'd be surprised how many people may not even know what you assume is something obvious.
That's true.
May not be common knowledge to everyone.
That's very true. I think that'd be a great conversation. Just basic assumptions.
We got 3-4 topics.
No joke. Just that quick. All right. So you want to recap a little bit from last week? I'm trying to figure out.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna recap. Nikki is. Listen, y'all need to be happy that Nikki don't run this country because we'd be in absolute chaos and anarchy. That's the recap that I got from that. We would be we'd be in trouble if
I
Nikki ran
thought
this
about that
country.
today. I said, you know what? Those people that come in person better be lucky that they come in person, because the online me would never have had that conversation like I had last week in person. But there's such a different energy that happens doing this conversation online versus in person. And boy, we had a conversation last week. No, we would not be in chaos.
We would be, Nikki and Smack would have us in absolute chaos without question.
No,
I'll let you explain because that was my takeaway. I'm like, oh my God, this is
like they're fucking crazy.
teaching my 4-year-old how to hold an AK.
But okay, so between last week and this week, had you like sat and marinated on any of that shit between then and today? Like, man, they really said this, or was Scott really said this, or Kurt really said
Yeah.
this? Like,
I thought about just some of the basic stuff, but I think
yeah,
I'm pretty solid in what I believe. Like, okay, so
right,
this is philosophically, this is what I believe. I say it like this: is I absolutely understand that there needs to be change, and I agree with change.
right.
But in the way that we proposed it, immediate change could be something very dangerous. And even though I would say, yeah, I won't change, but the when we're talking about just snapping your fingers and it all disappear, dangerous. So that's just my philosophical thought. Like I heard a pastor, which I agree with him to some degree, and because I would have questions when I was in church, and well, why don't we do this and why don't we do this and this and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the analogy he gave me, he said, there's a difference between driving a car and driving a school bus. With a
That's
car,
true.
you can make immediate turns and you can just change and loop around and do. There's a lot of things that you can do, but when you driving a bus, and what he was saying, even the parallel he was talking about bus, number one, the vehicle is bigger, but then you also have a large occupancy of people on there as well. So it ain't just about my mind changing and all right, now I'm gonna change. Like I have to be considerate of everyone else that I'm getting to understand this mode of thought as well. So I just can't up and do. That was one of the biggest problems that and I don't know if you remember me talking about Carlton Pearson. He recently
Yeah,
died earlier this
yeah, I
year, but
do.
he talked about the gospel of inclusion and just his whole thought process on heaven and heaven and hell doesn't exist the way that we preach it. And God came to save everyone, and it's already something that's been a finished work. And a lot of people rejected that, and he became looked at as a heretic and just someone not to be trusted. But part of that came from he immediately started teaching against the same things that he had been teaching for years himself. So you've taught a certain you've taught things in a certain type of way, and people have learned to accept that mentally. And then out of nowhere you just said, you know what, the way I was thinking was wrong. Everything just disregarded. It's like, hold on, we can't. You know what I'm saying? There's
Right.
a way that you have to introduce a thing when you're showing somebody something new, especially when you're talking about a group of people and a group of people who have any type of organization that believes the same way. Like if you were doing a 12-step program and you've been teaching people this 12-step program for years and years and decades, and then all of a sudden, hey guys, look, I gotta tell y'all something. Everything I've been teaching is bullshit. I got a whole new 12 steps. And they're like, what? Whoa, hold on. I've lived my life by this. I've seen, I've sworn by this and I've changed and I operate based off of these steps. And now you just telling me to do away with it. Like you got to take the time to explain this to me from a process standpoint before you just up and say, oh, forget about it. So Anyway,
so yes and no, because all I think in my head right now when I'm listening to you talk is we didn't get that fucking courtesy spring break Thursday 2020 when they said, you know what, the kids don't have to come back to school Friday. Let's just go ahead and take a early spring break. There's some weird shit happening. You know, we'll see y'all in 7 motherfucking days. Y'all come back to campus and we're going to go right back to normal. And that was 4 years ago. Overnight, you know, within 7 days, how quickly did shit change? So I think that there's always going to be fear associated with the unknown. I'm scared as fuck too. But right. I'm also scared as fuck that if we don't make drastic, immediate, serious fucking changes, the 10, 15, 20 or 100 plan that Damona's talking about, we're never going to fucking get there. We will be wiped out as humans before that ever happens. And our children and our maybe children's children will be left with this piece of shit space that we claim that we love, that we claim we fight for, that we claim we defend, that we claim we're here to protect. We're Americans. We love this fucking place, red, white, and blue, but we won't do the things necessary because fear has you by the fucking nuts. And we're never going to get anywhere with fear. And they know if they keep us fearful, we're easier to be manipulated. So yes, my world may look a little chaotic in the beginning, but you're going to fucking sink or you're going to swim. It's one of the other. and unfortunately, you know, I hate to say that, you know, the cliche is what the strongest survive, but they do. That's it. We need strong people. So when Scott was talking about, he was so angry last week when he was talking about how he was like, you're going to make people like me have to MURDER people. It's going to be brutal. And I'm like, well, some people are going to have to be taken out. Like, that's just
terrible, Nikki. Again, that's what I said. Nikki's going.
We just continue to cohabitate and co-sign on their bullshit while we're alive?
No, Nikki. But what in the given scenario that we had. Now, if there was a second scenario to say, hey, you can put another alternative in place before you snap your finger and turn it off, then my response would be different. But just to say snap it and it goes away and now it doesn't exist anymore immediately. I can't do that one.
I mean, and I feel you. I don't not, but I also know that if we continue to do what we've always done, we're never gonna fucking get anywhere.
So you stand by what you were saying, and you be like, nope, just I'm a Thanos this, and they gone.
Yes, and I also think that there's ways to is mediate the right word? Like, I also think there's ways to. I think that if you navigate things properly, but I also think that sometimes you're just not going to do the right thing for everybody. Like, the right thing is not going to be a mold everybody fits into. And so this is where you're going to have your challenges with society as humans, because we are flawed beings. But if more of the flawed beings, unfortunately, were taken out for one reason or another because of these things that we talked about last week, these ideals, I mean, it's like Thanos action, man. Burn this bitch down and start from scratch.
You think Thanos was right then?
I mean, how many Bible stories are behind the same type of shit where you burn it down and you start over, get rid of everybody, and we finna have our own kingdom, our own village, our own, and I don't think that killing innocent people is ever something that is just some fly ass shit that you should just be able to close your eyes like it's no big deal, right? But again, and we're talking about two opposite ends of the spectrum here. If we continue to do what we've always done, we're going to continue to get what we've always got, and it's getting fucking worse. So what we're doing in mass is not working. It works for some, but it doesn't work for most of us. So yeah, drastic times call for drastic fucking measures, and it's going to happen one way or another, whether we like it or not. Did you watch Civil War? Have you seen that movie yet? You talking about Clarence, but have you seen Civil War?
Talking about the Marvel Civil War?
No, it just I don't know. No, it's not a Marvel thing.
I have that one. No, I haven't.
It just came out. It's 2024. Me and the boys watched it last night, and it was fucking weird. But I was like, oh, I can see this shit happening. It was literally President Trump. Motherfucker went rogue.
It was about present day. It wasn't about
yes. Well, present day, a little bit future, but definitely like this.
Okay.
This if things like this were to happen, are we ready? And that was the conversation last week. No, most people are not. Most people are not ready.
And we just talked about something like law enforcement, but we can go into the other areas in just a second. Chevis, I don't know if you're available or to talk.
Yeah, I'm just running my mouth. Hey, thanks for joining us. You're muted. I don't know if you're trying to be unmuted, but you're muted, I think.
Peace, y'all. Peace.
Hey.
Peace. I appreciate the conversation, man. Consequences of leaving ideals. Shoot. Kind of thinking. With the sobriety agenda. And I don't mean to say nothing to make you down, Nikki, at all, but I left the sobriety stuff. You know what I mean? Like
I do. We've had this conversation. Yep.
Yeah. I left the sobriety idea because I've got 73 clients around the state, and so even though I do want some to be sober because they ain't they not in the right spirit without being sober, but I had to leave that Christianity ideal of sobriety and let my clients just hold on to the guardrails. You know what I'm saying? And that wasn't easy. You know what I mean? A couple of times I was like, man, now I need to push that sobriety shit back into them, blah, blah, blah. But the truth of the matter is they had heard that 100 times. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't want to cause no more harm, so I just created, somewhat of a guardrail of assistance where, you can hold on, or if you fall, you can pick yourself back up. And in the results of that, I've got 5 guys, no burgers and fries, but 5 guys who achieved sobriety afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Like once we wasn't pushing that shit, that's you gotta be sober is the only way, blah, blah, blah. Once we wasn't pushing that, we were able to exercise different verbiage, different words, different lanes, and shit, those 5 made it happen. I can't say that for everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Some folks are holding on to drinking and doing drugs, but their time is coming. Their time is coming to overcome that as well. But these 5, I'm absolutely proud of, because they were the reasons why I said, okay, well, let me shelve the sobriety agenda, and let me keep encouraging their heart. Let me keep inspiring a shared vision. Let me show them that I'm not gonna drink or smoke nothing in front of them, And my man Teddy, he's going on 23 months clean now. Sammy is going on 19 months clean, and we just got him housed, and he's so appreciative. And so, those were good consequences. Those were good consequences of leaving that ideal. And I'm not saying that would work for everybody. I'm not saying that would work in different regions. Obviously, Nikki, in y'all's space, y'all got to push that sobriety agenda into folks. You know what I'm saying? But I don't have the same office like y'all. You know what I'm saying? I don't have the same time as y'all. You know what I mean?
You're still a safe space, and that's what that's what I tell every client who walks in my doors. But when they leave, is it's not my position, it's not our position or philosophy to convince you have a drug or alcohol problem. We're just gonna address the fucking relationship, because obviously there's a relationship here, and it's caused some pain in your life. So let's take you must be an addict or an alcoholic off the table because you got arrested or you've been locked up or da-da-da-da. Like, yeah, your relationship with drugs and alcohol and substances and addictive things needs addressing, but it's about being a safe place to land. And I'm always grateful that our doors are opened and every person that walks through there, whether they make it or they don't, and whether they stay sober or they don't, or they reoffend or they don't, like, they know they can come the fuck back in and find another safe space to land. So being that for somebody who is in pain, especially when you're talking about mood altering substances, you have to have safe spaces, because not having safe spaces is generally why they're suffering from addiction and alcoholism anyways. So, you know, I've always supported harm reduction. Like, and I don't I don't support there's only one way to get sober. My dad was that way. My dad was a total big book thumper. Like, he was that. I'm kind of whatever works, as long as there's some rules and parameters that kind of keep some of this shit in check. That keep this stuff in check. And you know, but it's about having a safe space to land. I think that's the most important thing, to engage somebody into even wanting to maybe cease substances in my life, or see if I can do it, or if I can't, or if I even want to.
Well, Nikki,
yeah.
That's kind of contradictory of some of your other thought processes when you're saying needing having a safe space to land. And some of the scenarios that we propose, there's no safe space that's landing. This gonna be a hard landing.
Yes. Well, in cases of getting rid of the police, in cases of getting rid of taxes, in cases of getting rid of GMOs, there is no gray area when it comes to how a person gets help or receives help and that message. I think you can't have a one size fits all.
Right. I'm so glad you said all that, Nikki. I'm so glad. Like,
well,
like I don't mean to interrupt you. You know,
hold on just a second.
Go ahead.
Me and Nikki just jumped in, so let me kind of we just jumped right in from last week. So let me reset it for the people who are watching. So we had a conversation in our last in-person meeting, and the conversation was we came up with a series of situations, and basically the thought process was some of the things that we have issue with, or we say we don't like, or we say the system of it is broken, the law enforcement system. We talked about taxes, we talked about GMOs and food, a lot of the things that we really don't like are disgusted with. So then the conversation was, if you yourself had the ability to just snap your finger and do away with it immediately, would you be willing to do that? So that's the conversation that we're having right now. So I just wanted everyone to know where we're at with that. So, because we just start jumping in talking, but that's where we at. But Chevis, go ahead. You jump back in, sir.
Man, and that's a hard one to regard. You know what I'm saying? Like, because again, I'm gonna stay with what I was saying, and shoot, I don't think I could hit my fingers like that, and a brother or a sister, you know, just leaves the drugs or the drink. You know what I'm saying? I can snap, and rock and roll. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna happen like that.
Right.
But Nikki, you know what you were talking about. I'm so glad you opened that up, because that's, after all the times that we've talked, that's what I had to apply into, you know, my most in need clients. You know what I mean? Let's have conversations about pain, and let's talk about turning that pain into purpose. And that purpose ain't gotta impress me. You know what I mean? That purpose ain't gotta impress me. And then, you know, brothers that, you know, have relapsed. You know, I've tried not to be angry. I've tried not to be disappointed. I've got a brother, Paris. Nikki, I think you might have met P. I'm saying, and he was doing all right for a while. He was still hitting the marijuana, but he wasn't doing meth. He wasn't drinking, and I was cool with that, because that, you know, that's that harm reduction. Like, how can we shelve some of these other distractions? You know what I'm saying? And if you smoking bud, I'm not the police. I'm not finna be hard on you like that, brother.
Right.
But I might say something like, "Damn, bro, you didn't, you know, You done hit the smoke like 4 different reloads, bro. Is that, you know? And now we get into a conversation about safety, like you were saying. And you know, when I'm not pressing these brothers, well, these 4 brothers and this 1 sister, when I'm not pressing them, we're able to have a comprehensive conversation about everything. You know what I'm saying? About everything. And we'll talk about safety. What does safety really mean? Right? What does safety really mean? And we'll get deep. We'll get deep, and I'll say, man, that's peace that you've opened up like that. I can remember when you wasn't so, you know, so open. And then Teddy will say, man, you mean that? And I'll say, yeah, for sure, bro. Like, for sure, man. Like, I'm really inspired that you can be so honest. And he'll look at me. He said, man, Shevis, he's like, man, Shevis, that's why I'm not smoking or drinking no more, man. That's why I ain't smoking or drinking no more. And then I could clap for him. You know what I'm saying? I could clap for him, but that's not all that it is. You know what I'm saying? Because once he got sober, trauma really came. You know what I'm saying? The trauma really came. Trauma is only defenseless against a loving community. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you know, Teddy, you know, you always got me, baby. You can always call me. You can always call me. Don't matter what time. And I mean, parents calls me from jail just for the ear, you know, and it's hard not to tell a brother who I done did time with or who I've had as a client for 3-4 years now. Come on, bro, stop the shit. But I remember when you and me, Nikki, had conversations about, you know, how do you talk to children? You know what I mean? How do you talk to children? That was moons ago. But you know, you learned me something back then, and it wasn't just you. It was a couple of other sisters as well who were like, this is what I do with my kids. You know, this is how I speak into them, rather than them be scared of me because they may think I'm mad. And so, you know, I try that with my clients. And I try to be very careful about the words that I use, and not pressing and not saying sober, because, you know, guys have told me, as soon as you say that sober thing, they think in church. And church has been harmful to them. And if we're trying to reduce harm and not create any more harm, I'll let that go about church. But I'll still uplift, you know, the Most High's name, and I'll say something like, well, you know, praise the Most High, brother, or praise the Creator, sister, that, you know, we still here, that you're still in motion, that you still are considering your health. You know, and I'll say something. I don't want nothing to happen to you. I try not to get all in my feelings, blah, 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 but just so they know they got a friend in me. Just so they know they got a friend in me, they got an ear in me. And I'm proud of these 5. Denise, when we met Denise was living under the bridge on Shoal Creek in Mopac. You feel me? Now Denise is not only clean, but she wants to work. She wants her own place. You know what I mean? She's being honest with the judge and the case manager in the drug diversion court. And I'm so very proud. Last Wednesday we had a hard conversation about her folks going out of town and locking the doors, so she got to find somewhere to go. And she was, you know, the case manager in the courtroom was pressing. I had to say, hold on. We not finna do all that with my client. And she looked back at me, and she had tears in her eyes. You know what I'm saying? And I know when them tears come, that'll make her say, well, I want to smoke. I want to smoke. And Nikki, you know how it go, man. You know how it go. So it's like, I made sure when she walked out of court that I stopped everything. I ran after her, and I caught her, and I said, look, I know that was a hard conversation, but like, I truly appreciate you being honest.
Right.
And standing up for yourself. And she was like, Shevis, that just means so much. She's like, you know, I wanted to tell you, I wanted to smoke. But I didn't even think like that until she kept asking me about stuff that I'd already told her. And I said, okay, I appreciate that honesty too, right? I said, I appreciate that. I said, you know, you can always be honest with me and you can be honest with the courts. I got your back, blah, blah, blah. She was waiting for me outside. And when I got outside, she had happiness in her spirit. She was like, you know what? I needed to let that go. I needed to let that go. Shevis, when I would hold my tears in, I would find some guys to smoke dope with or use needles. She's like, but the fact that you came and got me right when I left court, the fact that the judge was so sweet to me. She said, I've never had that kind of support. I don't want to smoke no more. And I'm like, bingo. Like, it just worked out. Like, I haven't said sober to her in 3 years. But she's been sober now for almost 2. Right. And now she's really letting her emotions, you know, like come out. And you know, she's not fucked up about it. She's not. She's actually seeing how she'll circle back around and be happy that she did so. And so, you know, that's why I'm coming from with the sober agenda. You know, I super know that there's many who need to be sober. And the agenda can absolutely be the same. You had mentioned the 12 steps earlier, Q. The steps can absolutely be the same, but I'm just being very careful about, you know, being a tall brother, you know, a hard looking kind of brother, and making sure that my verbiage ain't causing the harm. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I want them to come back to me when something harmful has happened. You know what I mean? Like, that's that safe space. I appreciate it, Q. That's that safe space. And I mean, you know, I've needed it. You know, Nikki, you know, you've been there around for me. You know what I'm saying? And so when somebody's got a safe space, man, they can let go of the distractions and lean on to, you know, the folks that love them. You know what I'm saying? So
that was a good point. Sure. I never would have thought about sobriety as an ideal. So of all the things that were on my list of things that I thought about that we could abandon and like the repercussions of, I never thought about that one. So that's a very interesting fucking point.
Nikki, I wouldn't add that one in there with our scenario because I don't. In your program, is something that is encouraged, but it's not. Ouch! Oh, my back hurt. It's not something that's forced upon us as a society. So we don't force sobriety upon people. We may encourage it. We may have programs for it, but it's like, for instance, law enforcement. You don't get to choose if there's going to be taxes. We also talked about taxes. You don't get a choice in taxes, like whether you're gonna pay them taxes or the IRS gonna come for you. You know, with the food that I mean, there's alternatives,
right?
But in large in part, we're not like China where they get to say, no, we not you. That stuff is poison. It does not come across these lines. Like, we don't get those options. So I don't so when you talk about the sobriety part of it, that's more of an optional thing to where you say, hey, this is something that I want to practice, or this is something in my program.
See, it's not though when you've gotten into legal trouble. If you've had a legal issue, and let's say you had a substance, let's say you get a DWI, or you get a PI, public intoxication, or you get a POM, possession of marijuana, or a POCS, possession of controlled substance, or any other type of drug or alcohol related offense, the second you get out of jail, most people's bond conditions from moving forward for probably the next 5 minimum years of your life, because that's how long the pre-trial and the probation and so on and so forth. You know, for some people it's 10 fucking years, right? So when you get into the legal system, it is you don't have an option. Nikki, and if you do test dirty, you go back to jail.
Well, hold on, because we said doing away with law enforcement. Are you doing away with jails also?
Well, you know, I mean,
if there ain't no law enforcement, then
there's no law enforcement. There's no place to put people. I mean, but they had jails. But they had jails back in the day before we ever had law enforcement. You know, people were, I mean, well, hell, people were fucking killed, really. If you were a menace to society, you were taken out and pushed off a fucking cliff. You didn't get rehabilitative options. It was just a wrap for your ass. So I am a subscriber.
We're going down the rabbit hole.
I am a subscriber.
Okay, let's go. I feel like you're backpedaling a little bit, but I want to hear this. Let's see.
No, I'm a subscriber. If you are a genuine disease on society, right? Like, yes, you can go. You don't have. You don't need to be here.
You wouldn't snap your fingers and get rid of law enforcement, then?
I would, and the people who generally would be those that are vile members of society, we handle them accordingly. I ain't worried about jail and probation and fucking probation fees. I'm gonna get rid of you.
So basically, we killing everybody then.
Well, no, you can't.
I don't think. How would you have soft penalties and say, "Hey, we need you to like"?
It's like we talked about last week.
You think people are gonna accept the soft penalty? You think the as a tribe we say you need to do community service? They're like, or what? This is what we're saying you need to do. No, I'm not. Like nobody's gonna. If there's nothing that can enforce it, the only thing that you could do is kill somebody.
But look, Q. I mean, okay, I feel you. I would say this. I would snap my fingers and get rid of the police and the jails, just like that, just like that, just like that, just like that.
Okay.
Because again, if a brother or a sister is a murderer or a rapist, sexual deviant, then in the community in which they're in, let's bring up the good brothers and the good sisters and let's handle it. You know what I'm saying? That's how the scriptures say anyway. Bring the elders of the community and handle it. But, I've already spent hours imagining a life without police and without jails. You know what I'm saying? Because Q, we've got so many, we can have so many alternatives to jail. So many alternatives. Like right now, the Austin State Hospital has a bunch of beds that are available. Instead of bringing them folks right on Holly and on Cesar Chavez right there at the bridge, bringing them to Travis County Jail, bring them to the hospital where they need. Bring them to the hospital where they need. You said community service. I've had some clients like my clients in Oak Cliff in Dallas. Them boys have subscribed for life to the gangster shit. You know what I'm saying? And what I've learned, because you and I both know you can't just change a brother's mind. You can't just lock a brother up and have him change. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm thinking of 6, 7 brothers up in the D, where we've been able to get the guns out of their hands, where we've been able to get them off of the cocaine and off all that gangster shit by community service. By
you and Nikki's proposal, you don't want to get the guns out of their hands. You're going to want to keep those guns in your hands because there are going to be some other people with guns who are going to be enforcing what they want to enforce.
I'm cool with that. I would snap my fingers and get the guns out of everybody's hands. Let's punch. Let's get back to punching.
But no, that ain't the thing. That wasn't.
But that's not reality.
That's
not reality.
No. We weren't talking about snapping your fingers, getting rid of the guns. We said snap your fingers, get rid of law enforcement. So
I would get rid of
the guns are the ones who gonna make the laws.
I mean, that's a way to think about it, but
white people from the beginning of history, white man got the gun, that changed everything.
Yeah, I feel you, but at the same time, the Second Amendment tells us that we can have those guns, against traitors and tyranny and all that.
We even have a constitution? Wouldn't we even have a constitution?
That's what I'm saying. If you get rid of law enforcement, then you're basically getting rid of laws as well.
Right.
Because what is a law without enforcement?
Exists. Right. There would be no need for constitution. I mean, I think that there has to obviously
hold on. Let's go on the whole ripple
I don't
effect.
agree. I don't agree.
The whole ripple effect. We're pretty much getting rid of the whole government. We're getting rid of everything because if it can't be enforced,
it sounds like you're saying police. It sounds like you're trying to say that police, are the reason for the laws, which they are not. The 10th Amendment speaks about police power. You know, we've got 9 amendments before that, so I would disagree. We can have laws, common laws,
but
and again,
if we can't enforce the law, then what does that law mean if it can't be enforced?
But I'm not saying that we can't, Q. I'm saying, you know, brothers like you, me, sisters like Nikki and Denise, if we took that honor of being an elder or a respectful person in the community, we would be the ones to enforce the laws. We would be the one to enforce the laws.
Man, I ain't tracking these killers down all day, man.
But again, hear me, Q. If we did not have police, because there was definitely a day where we did not have the police, and we still had laws. We still had laws. The Holy Bible speaks of it. We still had laws. We had brothers and sisters who were respected that could handle individuals, and who could you know, take somebody out who couldn't change, and who had did the worst. You know what I'm saying? Again, I know that's you know, that's kind of crazy to hear and all of that. But if we went back to the old days, it wouldn't be all this murder. It wouldn't be all our kids watching YouTube all day and following crime stuff. It wouldn't be that. Kids would be with their fathers. Kids would be with their mothers. Kids would be with their families.
I said that too.
Yep. You know what I'm saying? Like we just have come to a time where that ain't, you know, they're not trying to have that happen.
But okay, so let me get back to my state of practicality. And even in areas in this world currently where like Scott brought up, Mogadishu, in areas where there's supposedly laws, but the laws are not, or there's not the law enforcement is not in position to enforce those laws. What do we see in those areas? We don't see peace, and we don't see elders, and we don't see control. We see a lot of chaos, and we see a lot of those people who are willing to commit the most violence, make the most profit. And that's why you can't even go down every 5 miles. You got a checkpoint because we own this portion of the road. And unless you give us this money, you're not getting through. And we probably just gonna rob you for it anyway. If you don't like in the scenarios that we do have currently, what you and Nikki are describing, I don't see that. And we already know. And I didn't even go into the whole what's going on in South Sudan as far as what they're doing with the women and raping them and all of that type of crazy stuff. Like, it's crazy. So it's like where laws are not or cannot be enforced, we see chaos. Like, speak to that.
Laws are not being enforced because there are people who are fucking terrorists. We talked about this last week. Some people, those men who are raping and killing and murdering those women and children and people, like, there's a time.
That's my point, Nikki.
For me, there's a time and there's a place. That's not that time and that's not that place. That power is not being used for goodness in a community or a village.
I don't expect it to be used for good. And
so then we get rid of them. We get rid of them. They gotta go.
You get rid of who? You get rid of who?
Those people who are abusing their power like that. If we don't have, I was gonna say something about the whole snapping the fingers with law enforcement, and I totally lost my train of thought.
These are not officials. These are people who got guns and they form militias and say we're gonna profit off of weapons and control. And if we got
weapons and control, and if it was a level playing field, that wouldn't exist. It's not a level playing field.
It's not going to be a level playing field.
You're talking about countries who are third world countries. You're talking about countries who.
Why don't you think? Look, we would be worse than them. We don't even have the natural resources in this country. We'd be worse off than they are.
That's because we're fucking lazy and privileged. They have to survive, so they've learned how to fucking survive given their circumstances.
Really quickly, in my opinion.
Do what?
I said what you see over there. This country would turn into that really quickly.
You're gonna have some chaos. There's gonna be some fucking anarchy. Yes, there's gonna have to be some level playing field before we level out how this motherfucker gonna operate. And the consequence of not operating the way we're gonna operate in our community is likely fucking death or abandonment on a deserted fucking island that you can't leave.
So like I said at the beginning of this conversation, Nikki and Smack will have us in absolute chaos if we went down there. Chef, you about to say something, sir?
But take me out. Take me out, Q. Take me out. I hear what you're saying, bro.
It's kind of muffly. Chevis, it's kind of muffly.
I don't know if you still got your headpiece still.
Oh, maybe that's
it's
what
on
it was.
It's on the damn on the car Bluetooth. Can y'all hear me better?
Yeah.
A little bit. But you are. We hear you. Go ahead, sir.
What I'm saying is what you're saying. I mean, it's kind of after everything has kind of happened over the years. You know what I'm saying? Like, sure, that's the way to look at it after all of this shit that has happened. But before America was created, you did not have chaos like that. You just did not. And sure, we could talk about South Sudan, but what about London, where the officers don't carry no pistol? They carry billy clubs. You don't have the same crime issue. You got a bit of a drug issue, but you don't have the same like injury, insult, damage, and disruption of peace. Because folks ain't got to deal with officers shooting folks down and breaking into homes and like with Breonna Taylor. They just not going through that.
Right.
So I don't think it. I mean, America is a different beast. America is a different beast.
Right.
But that's kind of all of our fault. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but that's still the difference of that's still a form of law enforcement. So if you make a certain action, there's still a certain consequence. They do have jails. That don't mean they locking you up for 80 years like they do in America, but there are consequences for actions, and they have officials in place to enforce those consequences. Now, so again, so if the situation was you snap your finger and the police can no longer carry firearms and you have to reduce all automatic weapons that are non-hunting or something like, yes, I'd snap my fingers and go off of that quickly, but that wasn't the extreme scenario that we presented. So yeah, it's just when we take it to that extreme, then I can't go with the extreme. There's about 15 other variables where it's somewhere in the middle or even close to the other side that I still sign off on, but not completely. But Nikki, you will. That's okay. It's fine.
I'm not afraid, right? Like, I don't have a fear of what would be. But I don't, and I don't, and I think. I don't think that you should. I don't think that you should at all. I think that being in a state of fear is there's a crippling effect that happens when you're in a state of fear, and that is how you become one of those that don't make it. You can't be crippled when it's time to motherfucking move.
No,
like you have to be able.
It's a fight or flight. It can cause two different reactions. It can cripple and paralyze some people, and it will force others into actions. Like what I said, I fear the day that I'm forced to put a gun in my 10-year-old daughter's hand. Now I'd have to do it.
You fear that?
Yes, that's not the life that I want to have for her. That's not the life to where no, you cannot go to the park because. Like there's no everything is anarchy and chaos. No, I do fear that time. Now I'd have to. She can go to the park now, still. Yes, you can. It ain't the same.
I don't know. It's not, but I don't. It's not, but I don't let my kids go nowhere unsupervised. Not two black kids. Hell, fuck no. Y'all can't go out of my grips. You got to stay close to home, or where I know the factors are controllable. No, but I hear you. Of course, I don't want my kids to have to. I would never want my kids to have to live that life either. But if that were to happen,
but what you're proposing, they absolutely would have to live that life.
Hey, if January 6th would have went the way that those punk motherfuckers wanted it to go, we could have had this situation taking place right now. This movie, Civil War. No, but it's less good if you're not prepared and if you're not mentally contemplating what if scenarios, or being able to emotionally prepare your children. Like, there's just things that we can live in la la land. Like, these things would never fucking happen. But when things happen that we completely don't expect them to happen, if we're not even in the least bit emotionally prepared, financially prepared, food preparation, water preparation, medication, I mean, just a variety of different ways that we can prepare ourselves for shit hit the fan scenarios, to think that it's never going to happen or it's not plausible in our lifetime.
But the scenario hitting and you electing for that to happen is two different things. And
I just read something today that
not the same thing. Like, oh yeah, let's set it off right now. That's two different things.
I read something today, and I was trying to pull it up. I know I shared it on Facebook and in our Facebook group page too, but I couldn't find it. But it said that 2023 had the highest number of officer-involved shooting fatalities for 2023, and I was like, God damn! Like, it's still, nothing's changed. Like, the numbers are going down, the numbers are going up, and the numbers are certainly going up for a variety of reasons. And it isn't just because we have lawless fucking society. People are fucked up, but involvement with law enforcement is a probability of fatality for some people, especially if you are not a white human being. Like, that is a system in which I am okay with getting rid of that system, and I do subscribe to it being a fair playing field. Like, I just do, and that shit don't scare me.
Let's say on the even side. So, and this is a conversation that I don't even know, Chevis, if you were somewhere around here around this conversation, maybe the week before or after you were somewhere around. We had a whole conversation about gun control. I remember Terry was there, Matt was there. We had a conversation about gun control.
That was a couple years ago.
Yeah, I remember, and y'all was all for the guns, and so
still am.
And there is, I think we have a major gun problem in this country. We do not need the level of guns and the amount of guns that we have, and all of these automatic, like that is, I think that is as big of a problem as law enforcement. Because let me tell you that there's a site, I don't know if you ever go to this, I forgot what, I think it's called like gunviolence.com or something like that. But you can look up in every city and see the people who have died from gun violence. And two things that stood out to me, well, three things, godly. Number one, when it comes to gun violence, my people, we got to do better, godly. To see all of the young black men that are on and I go through all of the cities where I'm from, where I live now in Austin, and all it's, man, we got to do better. That's number one. Number two, the amount of, go ahead.
Taking guns away is not going to solve that problem, though. The issue is
okay.
The issue is deeper than the guns. The gun is the symptom.
Before we get to that, let me give my other observation for that. Before we get to that part of it. Okay. Number two, I'm just saying from the website that I looked at, and it's not
gunviolence.com. I think maybe Gun Violence Archive is a website.
Yeah, possibly? I think so. I think that
okay, because I tried. Yeah, it's gunviolencearchive.org.
Yes, and look at it. You see all these. It breaks my heart to see how many young black men that you see, especially, and you talking about a 12 to 15% of people of color, and the number of you looking at 80-90% when you looking at that website. Number two, and this is something for the fellas, the number of women that you see, also women of color in a lot of cases, but the number of women, and if you check on it, because usually when you click on it, it'll show you the news link to it. So many women who die from gun violence, from boyfriends and abusive relationships and stuff like that. You don't think it happens the way that it does. But when you look on there, you see,
we know,
like, man, women this and this and that. And a lot of times, like you said, a lot of women know that. But men, because if it's not in your circle, then you don't see that. But when I start seeing all of those stories of women who are killed by boyfriends and husbands and stuff, like that's something that also raised an eyebrow. And the last thing I say, and this is the other part that I was going back full circle with this, you will see a lot of law enforcement, not a lot, but a lot more than you'd expect to see. Law enforcement, state troopers, people who are in those, I guess, potentially high aggressive situations. Whenever you're dealing with someone, if you're pulling them over for a tail light, but you know they got kilos in their trunk, they may shoot you to try to get away from. Like, so and I hate trying to give them a pass, but I'm just telling you, it was eye opening to see that there's more people from law enforcement who also get killed in that line of duty than you think it was. Well, those are the three things that I noticed from looking at this site.
But Q, I'll push back a little bit. Say we can't always believe the data from that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like folks will lie about that. And yeah, I feel
lie
you
about them actually dying, or
yeah, hell yeah. The police lie back and forth. I mean, the hospital lies back and forth about how many people die every day in the hospital. And sure, brother, sure. We need brothers to start trying to do better with women. You know what I'm saying? Straight up.
Mm-hmm.
And with that stuff you were saying, let's say you and me are living right next to each other and you got it going on over there. Well, or shit, I won't put that on you on Q. I've got it going on over my house. We fighting, arguing, threatening each other, all that shit. I would not be tripping if you came next door and got in the middle of it. I would not be tripping. That's what we do in East Austin with my farm partner. We got brothers and sisters fighting right there on Main and Rocky. We got relationship drama. We bring them to the farm. And let them open that shit up. Let them open that shit up and be honest. And we'll stand in the middle and we'll see that it's not really a gender issue. Mm-hmm. It's both folks ain't really listening to each other. You know, both folks ain't listening to each other. They not respecting each other. But see, when we step in the middle, we'll catch them when they get a breather, and we'll give that advice, and it'll be peace. And I call me old school. I want to go back to the old days where community members handled the situations. Because let's say you came over to my house, me and my woman fighting this and that and the third. I got my little boy inside the house with me. You come in and you quote unquote save the day. He would see how you came and talked to me, how you gave my woman the space, and he would sit there and see, man, my daddy's listening to that brother. He trusts him, and look how that brother's talking to my daddy. He obviously loves my daddy. Got care for my daddy. Then he would go outside and follow that same way. But with all of this fighting and all of these threats in people's household, which you know. That's their personal shit, you know what I'm saying? Trying to get in everybody's business, but kids see that and then they go straight to school and want to fight, you know, want to talk shit and all that. Mm-hmm. I'm saying if we got rid of police, I'm not saying, and when I say let's get rid of jail, I'm talking about all. I mean, Q, you gotta understand, we had 350 people die because of the heat in TDCJ last year. Burn all of them motherfuckers down. But I'm saying we could still have a place where we bring people, but it would be applied with so much other stuff. A lot of people are having this criminal behavior because they've got years and years of poverty, years and years of denied access, years and years of harm done to them. You know, because again, when I'd have been locked up with brothers who have done the worst and all that, it takes being around brothers who have also done the same for that brother to say, man, I really fucked up. I really messed up. Right. So imagine if we was in the community, you was able to come into the house, stop me and my woman from fighting and threatening each other and throwing shit around. Well, not only have you inspired me, but you've inspired my son. Now we can come to your house and talk about it. Even on the bad days, we can talk about it. And now my son gonna go to his little brothers and say, man, that's not how it happened at my house. Right now, And shit, as I drive into Austin right now, I could go to a couple of houses right now where all they doing is talking shit. All they doing is threatening, talking about, oh, I shoot, blah, blah, blah. But what if it was different? What if it was just different? When, okay, we don't have to worry about no police. It's not mass incarceration. That's the result. It's the entire community gonna know that you beating on your woman. The entire community gonna know that you threatening your husband and threatening to cut his nuts off and shit like that. That would cause that drama to decrease.
I agree.
Because again, people don't want their business all out in the streets like that. Now you go to jail folks may not even find out. I know guys that don't care. They'll go dumb. They don't care. Blah, blah, blah. But again, if it was a brother like you in the community with peace in your spirit, because you shown that to me over the years, and you came to and this is a bit of the work that I do in San Antonio and also in Dallas. A little bit in Houston. We're violence interrupters and violence preventers, and we come through before we even talk police. It ain't even gotta be no police.
Right.
We now take these brothers who are true gangsters, and we let them brothers know, okay, fam, we get it. That brother disrespect you, or y'all two really got a misunderstanding. But guess what? We came right here. We don't give a fuck about the police neither. What can we do? Because, brother, do you want to take, and I've said this in San Antonio, I've said, Vato, hear me out. You got this pistol in your hand. Do you know I'm not scared of that pistol, brother? You done put that pistol down since I done came through. You see, I don't want to hurt you, brother. And I get why you got that pistol in your hand. But I'll look Vato in his eye, and I'll say, but have you ever thought that if you shoot this brother, you take him from his mother, his sister, his kids? And the young Vato told me, man, I don't give a fuck about that shit. I ain't thought about that. But that's a trauma response. You feel me? Mm-hmm. When I've looked the Vato in the eye and I've said, okay, what if I go and tell him the same thing? Look, bro, you don't want to take him from his family. Let's punch this out. Or let's sit and really talk, and y'all really argue. Really speak up. Right. Speak on why you feel so disrespected. At first with these two young niggas, it didn't work like that. But I'll tell you what, once we spent an hour going back and forth, standing in the middle, motherfuckers got tired of all that shit. They got tired of all that shit. And one brother walked away, and the other brother stayed with us, and he cried. And I'm like, oh, brother, where them tears come from? You was just tough. He was like, man, I didn't grow up with no men who talk to me like this. And I looked him in the eye and said, me neither, homie. Me neither. It was just women that talk to me like that. You feel me? So even that Vato that left, he called me the next morning because he just selling drugs in the neighborhood, not seeing what he doing to his community. He came back to me that next morning because I'm still in the neighborhood, just to keep my eyes open with the homies. And the young brother came back to me, said, look, my nigga, I really appreciate you, bro. Like, I wanted to kill that nigga, but then when you made me see everything about it, like if I just took him out, I'm going to take myself out. And I was like, now you thinking, bro. Mm-hmm. Brother, now you thinking. I said, how about we bring homie back? And we talk about what he did wrong to you, what you did wrong to him, and we handle it like some real brothers. And you talking about a brother in me where I've caused harm to a woman. I'm sitting in front of these brothers. It's other homies around that then traded in their gangster shit. And we all just having a safe space. Because brothers ain't really had that shit. A brother ain't never been around man he could cry around or say, man, I'm really fucked up, or man, I'm just so angry. Like people. And I don't mean to say this to be of harm to no woman, but shit, brothers I work with, they've tried and then they've been embarrassed by being around their mother or their girlfriend because they'll, a mom or a girlfriend to come back and call them weak or say all these things. So a brother, these two brothers, they was just holding that shit up. They was just holding that up because that's all they knew. And I didn't, you know, some of my days before, I say, man, you grew up with a single mother, old, you know, sis ass nigga. Like, I didn't change my ways in many regards. I say, bro, I understand. I understand. And praise God your mama was around, brother. But your mama couldn't do everything.
Right.
That's where we as community supposed to come in.
Community.
And he'll say, man, you say that, but bro, I just don't know, bro. Like, I don't know. You talk about that community shit. I say, bro, come work with me a little bit. We finna pick up food, recycle that food, and drop that food off to people's house. I'm telling you, the worst gangsters, especially these niggas in Austin. You get them to ride in this broke ass car that I'm driving with, where we put furniture on the roof, where we go from one side of the city to pick up food to another side. I'm telling you, gangsters.
Yes.
They gonna say, man, that's what you do, bro. I mean, I'm telling you, niggas here in Austin, they like, you see that smile on her face? You see how them kids was happy? That will touch a brother's heart so much that he'll say, man, I need to work with you more, bro. I need to work with you more. And I say, man, that's that community service. You bring a brother into community service and you let him know it's cool to be you, bro. It's cool to be you. We not gonna hurt. We not gonna threaten. We not gonna talk all that crazy shit. But you can be you, brother. If you don't want to talk, you ain't gotta talk. If you angry, sit by me. Stand by me. I could take it. I could take it. And I'm telling you, we didn't.
You're getting them to tap into their God nature. A person's God nature is to serve, and when a person learns or operates in a level of service, they tap into a different part of themselves that they
straight up
never understood before. So
that they never understood, Q. And that's God's work right there, brother.
It is, absolutely. And you know, and that's really like anytime I start feeling a certain type of way, if I start dealing with any type of anxiety or depression or anything like that, the first thing I look to do is serve. How can I serve somebody? I need to reestablish purpose, real purpose in my life.
Right.
It levels out your mindset. It brings balance back into your life, and you start to re-understand your space and your place on this earth.
I mean, even some brothers, it really brings out. I mean, y'all, sorry for the vulgarity, but it really brings out the bitch in them. But when a brother that bitch in him can come out and he can see that don't change me, homie. That don't change me. I didn't had my time, bro. Mm-hmm. Then homie say, okay, man, it's cool to just be honest in me.
Right.
And I didn't have brothers come. I'm telling you, I didn't have brothers in San Antonio and Dallas come and bring me that gun. Because they remember that first conversation, bro. Bro, if you ever want to get rid of that gun, that burner, come drop it off to me. We'll handle it. Right. You ain't got to live like that no more. And a couple of brothers have said, well, what I'm going to do? A nigga might jump up on me, blah, blah, blah. I said, I feel you there, brother. And if you want to hold on to this gun for self-defense, make sure it's for self-defense.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure it's for self-defense. A couple of brothers have said to me, Chevis, I thought it would be, but now with this gun in my hand, I feel a real unhealthy, power in me. Like I could just do whatever. And I say, brother, that's why you can always drop that off with us, and we'll get it into the right hands. Get that off, Chevis, brother. You ain't gotta live like that.
Chevis, that goes back to even what you were talking about when you was at court with the young lady,
mm-hmm.
And what I was gonna say, but I know you was giving a story. It's so important that a person learns to be honest with themselves. You see, because whether you're doing whether to do a 12-step program or not to do it, or focus on this and this, and the key is if you're honest about yourself, like just really be honest, like where you are. If this, you'll know when you start to self-assess. And I had this whole conversation with my son actually just a couple of days ago. It will guide you properly So it ain't gonna be like, oh well, no, I'm gonna stop drinking because this is what the program tell me to do. It's no, let me self-assess. What is this doing for me, or what is it doing against me, and what is this doing to help me further achieve my purpose or my goals and my dream? I had one of my best friends. I went back home to Decatur, and one of my friends, his little brother was in and out of jail. I'm like, what's up, so such and such? And he's like, oh man, just trying to stay out, just trying to stay out. I said, let me tell you something different. It's good that you want to stay out and you don't want to go back in, but that's the wrong focus. Ask yourself, what do I want to do with my life? Once you figure out what you want to do with your life and you understand your purpose, you don't have to be scared about, well, let me not go back in. Your purpose will tell you what's good for you and what's bad for you. Even to the point that it may not be bad for or good or bad for other people. Like one of my friend, because actually his brother was down that same path. But my friend, he found his purpose and what he wanted to do in life. So he didn't have to say, let me not be bad. His purpose told him and showed him everything that went against what would get him to his ultimate goal. So it's like, yeah, no, I'm not going to sell drugs no more. That takes me away from my purpose. I'm not going to be hanging out all night at these clubs. That takes me away from my purpose. I'm not going to, I'm not going to sit there and play video games all day. I don't have time for like anything that's going to take me away from my purpose and what I know I'm designed to do is automatically going to start to fall off because I've assessed what I want to do and what I want to be in my life. And that which doesn't further me toward it is a hindrance or a distraction to me. So you don't have, the idea is never to focus on the negative. But if you focus on the positive, then you don't have a desire for the negative. That's LeBron. I'm sure LeBron loved to eat a big cheeseburger, quarter pounder. That's going to take me away from my purpose. My body is a machine and I got to make sure it's in optimal condition. I can't eat this fatty food. That's people who understand their purpose. Now, some people, let me say some athletes, their purpose is I want to get this money. So then once they get the money, then they gain the weight, they get out of shape, they get sloppy. You see some people, as soon as they get that big contract, they game fall totally off because their focus was on getting money. You look at somebody like Kobe Bryant, like, I want to be the greatest ever, and I want to be the absolute best I could be. You ain't have to, you don't have to ask what he's eating. Ain't nobody have to tell him what time to wake up in the morning. He already understood what his purpose was. So that's the difference.
And I feel you, Q. I feel you, but shit, everywhere I go, whether it's Abilene, DC, Atlanta, Savannah, Georgia, I'll say the same thing. I'll say, baby, we got to turn that pain into purpose. But guess what? Shit, 6 out of 10 brothers ain't never sat down and created no purpose. Right. So I'll always say wherever I travel, I'll tell a sister, I'll tell a brother, I'll say, man, we need to stop all this, all these spaces with sports and boxing and all that kind of stuff. We need to stop that and create new community space where it could be as simple as that. What is your purpose? And come here to this workshop and let's create a purpose for you so that when you leave, you got one. Right. And that just doesn't happen. I mean, here in Austin, we got the Man in Me. They do a little something, but again, them be, you got to dress up for all that. You got to wear a suit for all that. Right. Brothers won't come like in the Christian church, come as you are. Brothers won't come as they are, especially if they all brokenhearted. Right. You know what I mean? If they all brokenhearted, if brothers trying to put on for women, you know what I'm saying? Right. Brothers want to know that they can just come in and be wrong or say some fucked up shit and they're not gonna get tossed to the side. Again, I would say shit, 8 out of 10 of us, 9 out of 10 of us been thrown to the side like the napkin. So when we create new community space, we could turn brothers around. And that's again what we do at the Forum, what we do in San Antonio, what we do in Dallas. And a little bit what we do in Houston, we just try to create new space for brothers to know it's all right. It's all right. It's all right to be you. I'm cool with me. Mm-hmm. I'm cool with me. Like I'm sitting with a brother named Jinx last week, and we arguing over the Black Fund. I'm saying, bro, you got $15,000, bro. You don't really do the work, bro. Like you just do parties and social gatherings, and that's it. He's like, nigga, you can't even take care of no woman. You can't even take care of no woman. Guess what? I'm cool with me. I'm cool with me. I got nothing but women in my organization. That was a trauma response for Jinx.
Right.
And after he let go with that shit, the hate that he keeps for me inside, and he saw that I wasn't pulling for no pistol. I wasn't trying to threaten his life. When I told him, bro, you talking about me as if thing to fuck me over. Brother, you the one sitting here dealing with all this. Didn't you call me over here? Then it came right back circle. We have to create new space where brothers and sisters, they say, okay, let's let go of all of the frustration and the arguments and are you uncomfortable with yourself? Are you cool with yourself? And we'll find that many are not.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Many are not. And so when it comes to guns, hell, 8 out of 10 brothers carrying a gun are living in fear. They're living in absolute fear. So if we had new space to let that fear go, and let a bro know, like, come on, fam, it's all right. What are you scared of?
Mm-hmm.
Think of how much undoing has to happen,
want
though,
all
for
these
that to
unsettled
happen.
people to hold on to their guns.
No.
That's what it.
But I believe we have. I believe that we have the
people
right.
are the ones that the ones who ain't got no hands and like and those.
Man, I know brothers with hands for real, but they hold on to their guns, and I'm telling you, it's because they living in fear. You pass the Willow around and give a couple of shots of Hennessy, right? The most gangster brother, he gonna start to get honest, and he gonna say, man, when I was 12 years old, niggas ran up on us, or I was with my mom and the brother she moved into the house, he came through with that gun. I say, man, I feel you, bro. I done seen that. I done been through that. That's a scary space to be in. And when you even use the word scary, you give a brother a chance to either be an adult or a kid. Some brothers will say, oh, man, fuck that scary ass shit. I ain't no scary ass nigga. You see, again, that's a trauma response, fam. I'm not saying scary to fuck you up. I'm just saying scary shit be scary, my nigga. When you get locked up on that bitch, it's scary. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, brother, look at your brother in Dallas and Oak Cliff. I'm thinking of. He looked at me. He looked at my eyes. So I wasn't playing no games. And he was like, nah, fam, what you right on point. It's just some words trigger me. And when you can get in a space with some gangster niggas talking about what triggers them, now we can put the guns down. I'm not trying to take them from you.
Right.
We really just trying to put them down. We're just trying to put them down. I'm a firm believer, Q. If there's going to be gun control, right? Like, if they're going to be taken from regular people, then they have to be taken from everybody. So you have to Thanos guns. That's the only way it's going to work for me. Otherwise, I do support being able to protect yourself.
Thanos guns. I would Thanos guns.
I would Thanos guns as long as that's how it went down.
Hold on. Let me make an addendum. Let me make sure I make this clear. If I could Thanos guns worldwide, I'd do it.
That's all of it would work.
I ain't taking guns out of America and everybody else still
got everybody else got them. Shit, no. We're fucking city ducks. No.
Right, no, I ain't doing that. But
no.
Yeah,
if we gotta go back to knives and fists,
I absolutely would.
If we gotta go back to knives and fists, then everybody gotta go back to knives and fists. But so many of these issues that fall under gun control emotions are related to an absolutely failing society that we give our fucking children, be it consciously or unsubconsciously, you know. And then as I'm listening to Chevis talk, and I mean, the same gangsters he's talking about are the same gangsters that I have that come through our office 7 days a week. Like, these are my people, right? So when you have the safe space with people, and you can get into the roots of why people behave the way they are, or responses to the things that they are, you have to dismantle a whole fucking system, right? So you have to change the music, you have to change the video games, so it's not, I think that the word gun control is really easy for people to throw around, because, oh, just take the automatic, you know, rifles away from people, then we're all gonna fucking be safe from fake school shootings and whatever's. But the reality is society's fucked up. If we don't, you can take away cocaine, people are gonna use caffeine, people are going to use other substances. You take away nicotine, people are going to, you know, go back to smoking fucking, you know, original tobacco leaves. Like, there's always going to be something.
Real weird of you, Nick. You would get rid of all law enforcement, but you wouldn't get rid of guns.
The only way I ever get rid of guns is if everybody's was gone. That's it.
Okay.
They can't be from one to the other.
Okay. So
gun control should never just be emotionally wrapped up or tied into the number of innocent people that are killed, when the reality is all of the fucking microcosms that have made up why this person has a gun in their hand, and what society has fed this fucking person day after day after day after day after day of, this is what's normal, which is why little kids can go fucking pull a gun at 12 years old and 10 years old and steal a car at 9 and like what? Like, not to say that this didn't happen before, but it's society is the issue, not guns. Guns are not the issue. It's people is the issue.
Okay, so before we get out of here, let's just do a quick rundown where we talk about Thanos and stuff. I guess that's a good word for it.
I mean, it makes perfect sense.
I know, yeah. Is there anything else that you with Thanos? Okay, insurance. Would you get rid of the all insurance is optional?
I don't think I would get rid of car insurance or like home insurance, like the protections that you need. I would, but I would also make it capped. There is no fucking fluctuation. Now, if you're just a badass driver, that's one thing, right? But like,
no, we're talking about Thanos, and we ain't talking about reform. We're talking about keep it or get rid of it.
No, I would get rid of I would get rid of medical insurance. But I would keep some type of life insurance, you know, homeowners insurance, car insurance.
This is a light one. All right, I think I know the answer to this one. Political systems, would you Thanos that?
Oh, I would definitely Thanos political systems. For sure.
I'm with that too. I'm like, yeah.
I'm so glad we finally agreed on one. Good Lord. We've been talking about this mess for 2 weeks. Okay, so we agreed on that one. Would you get rid of insurance?
Okay, it's 2 questions. Get rid of insurance, no. Get rid of mandatory insurances. Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or certain insurance to be mandatory.
And especially when if they make it law, then they make it a criminal. So if you don't abide by this law, then now it's fucking criminal. So I'm already poor, and now I have a penalty because I'm fucking poor, and I still gotta pay my medical bills if I go to the damn hospital and I'm uninsured. Like, I don't get a break anywhere in this, except that I'm not paying these bullshit monthly premiums that I can't pay anyway. So it has to be capped. If it's going to exist, it has to be capped.
Would you Thanos any music? Any music genre or catalog of certain people?
I would Thanos me. I would Thanos some. You know what? So today when I was cleaning this house, I put on the today's R&B and hip hop station on Pandora.
New age hip hop.
Y'all still there?
Hear what's out today? You know, I don't never jam nothing new. I'm an old school chick. I hate fucking new music. I hate auto tune. I hate female rappers. I hate prostitute rap. Like, I hate dicks and chicks and pills and like, I hate that shit. Right? Like, music is either there's a sexual agenda in music, and there's a poverty agenda in music, right? So as I'm listening to the R&B and hip hop, today's R&B hip hop Pandora station, all of the female rappers that came on, I fucking thumbed down them bitches immediately. I was like, as a woman, now mind you, I'm not the finest woman in the world. I don't have the biggest ass. I ain't got no big jumbo titties. Like, there's a whole lot about me that just makes me a regular old ass basic woman. I don't have problems with women to where I'd have to write fucking albums of bitch, 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 ho, bitch, bitch, ho, bitch, bitch, ho, ho, ho. My pussy, my fuck, like.
That's gonna be the next song come out.
That's
gonna be
watch
the
it
whole
be
hook right
the trademark. I don't have problems with women to where, and then that's just me, right? Now I realize there's a lot of women who do have issues with women, right? That doesn't mean that my experience is every woman's experience, but I can't imagine writing fucking 10 songs on this album and 12 on this one and 15 on this one and 9 on another one of just bitches and hoes. I thumbs down every single one of them. And all I kept thinking to myself is how many women right now, how many girls, how many boys are listening to this? Like, this is just normal. This is normal. And fuck no, I would absolutely get rid of all music that is sexually explicit and violent by nature. Absolutely.
Come on.
Ooh,
I agree.
Okay,
I agree.
I am such a now I'm trying to put nuance in it, which I think I'm trying to cheat myself. Yeah, you know what I'm about to say is cheating. I ain't gonna even lie, it's cheating, because I am a huge proponent of freedom of speech.
Sure.
So from that aspect, I wouldn't Thanos anything, but I would. Yeah, see, I'm cheating. I would Thanos the consumption of, like, so I would treat that type of music like porn. It's not allowed to be above ground. That if it's an underground thing, it would be unplayable on the radio. You can't play it on any digital streaming net, like none of that stuff. You'd have to find it in your now. So we can't. I wouldn't prevent anyone from saying it or making the music, but the platforms that, just like you can't say the certain 4-letter words on network TV, you shouldn't be able to exhibit certain type of music on global platforms.
So to that point, how
I cheated.
But how interesting that you bring that up, right? Because I'm thinking of the 4-letter word you're referring to, and I've said this 4-letter word before. And how ironic is it, though, that you can't say that, but you can say any and everything that will bring the fucking Black community all the way down to the fucking roots of the deepest fucking tree. You can say that, you can push it and push it and push it and push it and put it on tour and put it on mainstream and put it on motherfucking Kids Bop and like, but you can't say that 4-letter word. So that, I would Thanos television. I would definitely Thanos television.
You Thanos television?
I would Thanos television. The programming in which it's television, I would definitely Thanos television. Yeah.
The further I get rid of it, I see. No, I wouldn't. But I see the agenda and the manipulation. But I see it clearly. I see it on both. I see it. So, and not only, you know what? And I see it in social media. It kills me how people, I don't know how many times people send me stuff or in group threads that I'm in where they send me trolling, and I'm like, this is fake stuff. And y'all,
I see you say that a lot on
staged videos. I said I'm gonna do one about. We're gonna do a whole show about. You know what? That's another one. We're gonna write that down. We're gonna do I'm gonna just put a whole bunch of videos, and I'm gonna start asking, do you think this is real or fake?
Right.
And I'm gonna break down. Let me show you how this stuff is fake. I can't. It turns me off to where that's probably one of the reasons I really don't be on social media that much.
Right.
Because I have no desire to be purposely manipulated or have listen to people have real conversations about fake stuff. I'm like, y'all having real conversations about this. Like, goodness gracious.
And then when you really get into when you get into the reality of how powerful that programming is, like, no, absolutely not. Right, it's all intentional.
So, let me give you a simple one. So I think it was my friend Crystal. They had this some carrying some Coca-Cola on the raw chicken and put some mustard and some baked beans and a bunch of just random stuff. And all of these people comment, "Ugh, that's nasty. Who thought you did?" And they really giving honest feedback about how nasty. I said, "Do you know that they're trolling you?"
Right.
You see this? They know that it's gross and disgusting, and then they'll purposefully undercook the food and they make it look, oh, this is so great looking. I'm just gonna, and because all they're doing is feeding into your Karen stereotype,
soliciting a response.
And they know that you already, yes, and they just win off of this. I'm like, and y'all fall for it, and y'all like, ugh, they just can't cook, and they did this to get the exact response that you're giving.
Yeah, true. That fucking box is powerful, man. That TV, that internet is a powerful thing.
Just trolling.
Would you Thanos the internet?
No,
you wouldn't Thanos the internet. No.
Again, the problem with the internet is how people use it. I love the internet because I know how to use it for the things that is beneficial.
Right.
I could do documentaries to do things. My serpentine belt came off of my car. I pulled up YouTube, found out how to put the car. It's so much stuff that I learned just instantly.
Yeah. Right.
But it's how you use it. And a lot of people don't know how to use it.
But I mean, think of that, Q. Think of that, Q. Just what we was talking about a little bit ago. Okay. So serpentine belt come off. You go to YouTube to find it, right? So you can do it yourself. But let's just go back to the old days. We ain't had no YouTube. So you don't know how to do it, you go find you a brother. You know what I'm saying? You go find you a brother. Now it becomes a community thing. Now it becomes a community training. One brother a master mechanic, another brother got the experience. You don't know, but brothers respect you. Now they come just to see what's going on. Now 8 men leave knowing how to do a serpentine belt. We don't need no YouTube. I wouldn't mind going back.
You can do that with YouTube, but it's just people don't care to get the information. Use YouTube for because it's the same thing that you're saying, Chevis. The information is actually being shared, but it's just being shared by different platforms. So if you or Nikki or I don't have the knowledge, we could go knock on doors and find a brother or the sister who knows how to do it, or we can use that platform to find a brother or sister who is going to put that out there for you. Like, I'll be honest, I did not, as much as, I didn't grow up like that. Even though my dad was a pastor and all this other stuff, I didn't learn how to tie a tie.
Right. Wow.
And in my late 20s, I was late 20s, almost 30 years old. And I'm like, I didn't learn how to tie a tie.
Were you doing clip-on tie?
No, I would get somebody to tie it for me, and I would just.
I was like, because I know you had to tie.
I would loose it, take it off, and then I pull it back in. But
put it back on.
So I go on YouTube. How to tie a tie? Doing like all right, I got it.
But the point being, though,
but it's still But what I'm saying about with Chevis, that's still a community thing, but it's about wanting to get the information and using it properly instead of just going on World Star all the time.
Okay. Did you see the movie? What was the movie with Julia Roberts and Leave the World Behind on Netflix? Did you watch that?
Yes, I saw that.
So let's say internet just the shit hits the fan tomorrow. We have no access to internet.
Let him in the house, honestly. I wouldn't let him.
I mean, you still got to figure out how to change your serpentine belt. You ain't got no internet. So I mean, yes, it is important. It's like, so for me, it's like guns, right? There's a good way and there's a bad way to use them. It's the internet. There's a good way and a bad way to use it. But if we got rid of it, it forces us to go back into this community village mindset, which for me goes back to why I don't envision this necessarily long-term chaotic situation.
That's a slower process, though. It's not wrong, but it's a slower process for me. So for someone like myself who inquires for knowledge and is interested in learning new things and
Right.
getting knowledge, it's a more efficient way to do that. To
Right.
where it may take me 2 or 3 days, or I got to ask around for a week or two to find somebody who knows how to put that belt on, versus me figuring it out in 15 minutes. And with the rest of those 2 weeks, it would have took me, you know how long my to-do list would be if I had to just actually speak to one person or another person to find, like, my to-do list has a lot to
But
do
you
with
don't. You have a
getting
whole
on social
community.
media, getting on platforms and finding it out.
You got the same community at your fingertips if we didn't have social media.
Going to restaurants versus I can look on their website. I can see what their food look like. I know what the prices look like. I know when their hours are open. I don't have to drive down there and find out, oh man, they closed. No, I already know when they open and close. I already see the reviews. I know what's good. I know what's not good. I know what, all of that stuff. So all is just it's efficient if you use those tools properly.
Of course. But in the event that we didn't have access to it, we're not just going to sit frozen. Yeah, we're not just going to sit frozen and be like, like, we don't have to fucking figure it out.
It's not even complicated. We both grew up in a time where the internet didn't exist. What did we do then?
Right.
We did something else. So it's like, I don't look at it like it's the end of the world if it goes away. I just go back to how it was. Hey, take it back to 1991.
Right. And I guess thankfully and gratefully, we come from an era where we were alive before the internet. So we know that it's possible, but like our kids can't maybe grasp that fucking concept of a world with no internet.
Nope.
All right. Any other Thanos things? What else did you Thanos? No, nothing else I could think of. That was good though, and I'm glad we part 2 this conversation because I don't think that just the one conversation last week was even like covered enough territory, and I wish that some of those folks were part of this conversation tonight. But I enjoy how different both of them have been, and the perspectives that were included in both times.
Right.
I know one of my friends that was there last week. She was like, "Man, y'all be thinking some serious shit, man." I'm like, "Yes, we just sometimes you put the quarter in and just keep going and going and going and going, and that's who's to say any of these scenarios would ever happen?" But I think that it's fair to say that in 2024 we should prepare ourselves a little bit better for some of these things.
Absolutely.
And that doesn't mean that we're not going to die. That doesn't mean that we're going to make it. That doesn't mean I'm going to fucking make it. You know what I'm saying? But at least I know if I have an option to, I got some food and we got some gas. I got a few things that maybe get us through for a little while until we figure out whatever this civilization would look like.
Uh-oh.
That's me freezing, or you? Okay, there we go.
I couldn't tell.
It's got all 3 of us so far, so I'm not sure who's blinking out here at this point.
And my stuff usually do freeze around the same time. I don't know.
And that's crazy.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Well, let's close it up.
Yep. All right, so we got some good ideas, and
we have some great topic suggestions coming up, and then of course,
write them down. I ain't write all.
I did. I wrote a couple down. Yes, I did. Yeah, I know. I'll go back and re-listen tonight.
You got to read that book. Watch that book of Clarence. We're gonna do some Black Mirrors.
We got trolling.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else did I write down? I thought there was something else somewhere else.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Sometimes I'd be taking, man, there was something about church.
Oh, the like common knowledge, the thing.
Yeah, the assumption was
knowledge, right?
Where did I? Why can't I not find my own notes? Oh yeah, somewhere else. Yeah. The basic assumptions.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that'll be good. All right.
Yeah, and then before you know it, we'll be ready for next Tuesday in person. So we got a couple weeks worth of topic ideas.
Yeah. And we can think about if we want to take one of those to the live conversation. So that's something to think about as well.
And let's see, what is the next?
Next, shoot.
Let me see.
Last
The
Tuesday of the month.
last Tuesday. Sorry, I'm pulling up my calendar. Next last Tuesday. So for June, it is going to be June 25th. Oh shit! June 25th. We're gonna go down that day. So June 25th it is. We'll be at the truck. We'll be at Dirty Globe Midwest Barbecue. So between now and then, we'll be here on Tuesday nights, 8:05 live. Y'all tune in, check the page, drop your contact information, share, and of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not. And that's pretty much it for me. You got anything, Q?
Nah, I ain't got nothing. Happy birthday.
Oh shit! Denise. Should we talk about Denise's birthday real quick? Just shout out.
Yeah, that was pretty dope.
Yeah, we had a good night. Denise came down and she did a performance up at Third Base with Smack, and some of the old school Facebook or the old Freethinker folks came in, and I think we probably maybe had like 15-ish, here and there, 15, 20-ish people. So shout out to everybody that came and hung out. Trey and Casanova and Stephanie and Toby and Denise and you and me and Edward and Cynthia and shit. I was trying to think. Yeah, so it was a good time, man. If you have an option of coming and hanging out, man, take advantage of the opportunity and come hang out with us sometimes. We have a good conversations in person too.
Yeah, it was a really dope time. Yeah,
it was good shit, man.
We just enjoyed ourselves. It was good. Yeah, it was.
Felt like old times, no internet included.
Yeah.
And that's it. I guess we will see y'all next Tuesday. My Wi-Fi, I think my Wi-Fi is glitching.
Okay. Well,
all right. Good night, Travis. Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate y'all always, man. Y'all be safe. Appreciate it, Q.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it, Nikki. I thought I saw Demona on here. Appreciate you, sister.
Yeah.
She was.
Y'all be safe, man. God bless.
All right.
Till next Tuesday, huh?
Till next Tuesday.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all have a good night.
No doubt. Peace and blessings.